It is Monday, January 19, 2026. And I have to say, looking at this stack of reports we have on the desk today, the tech industry feels like it's having a massive public midlife crisis.
That is actually a perfect way to put it.
Right. I mean, on one hand, you've got these titans of industry basically fighting over the soul of artificial intelligence. We're talking about like the future of consciousness wrapped up in these billion-dollar lawsuits. And then on the other hand, we get a report that your laptop, the one you use every day, can't even figure out how to go to sleep.
It really is the duality of where we are. We're reaching for the stars with generative AI, but we're still tripping over our own feet when it comes to the basics, drivers, batteries, even health safety.
Exactly. It's high-concept sci-fi mixed with just like low-level frustration. So to make sense of this whole mess, we're digging into a fresh batch of reports from TechWorld Bangladesh.
And the goal is to connect the dots.
Yes, exactly. We're going to look at the corporate warfare, these lingering health fears we thought we'd buried years ago, the smartphone market, and the software bugs that are probably driving you crazy right now.
And what I love about this set of sources is it forces you to look at the whole ecosystem. You can't just see the shiny marketing. You have to look at the lawsuits, the government studies, and the glitchy code underneath it all.
So buckle up. We are starting at the absolute top of the food chain. We need to talk about Elon Musk, OpenAI, and a number that I had to read 3 times.
$134 billion.
134 billion with a B. The reports say Musk has taken OpenAI to court, and that is the price tag. Now, help me here. Tech lawsuits get expensive, sure, but this is nation-state money.
It is. It's the GDP of a country.
Where does a number like that even come from?
It's staggering. I mean, we're talking higher than the GDP of Kenya or about the entire economy of Kuwait. But to get the number, you have to get what Musk is arguing. This isn't just, hey, you owe me for a loan.
Right.
This is about valuation and missed opportunity on a galactic scale.
Okay, so break that down for us. How does that add up to 134 billion?
So his argument, based on these filings, is all about his specific contributions to founding OpenAI. He's basically saying, I watered this plant when it was just a seedling. Now that it's a giant tree worth trillions, I own a massive piece of that.
But isn't that just the risk with any startup? I mean, you leave, the company gets huge, you miss out. People who sold their Apple stock early, Why is this different?
The nuance here, and this is the real key, it's about the nature of the contribution and the promise that was made. OpenAI wasn't just another startup. It began as a nonprofit.
Ah, right. To benefit humanity.
Yeah.
A counterweight to Google.
Exactly. In OpenAI, it was meant to be the democratized open source version of AI.
Okay.
So when OpenAI pivots to this more commercial closed source model, which is where the value just exploded, Musk is arguing his initial funding was, misappropriated. He's claiming that $134 billion is the fair market value of what his stake would be worth.
So it's almost like he's saying, I paid for a public park and you turned it into a private luxury hotel.
That's a great analogy. Yeah. And because OpenAI is the center of the global conversation on AI, this isn't just a business dispute, it's a custody battle for the future.
So what does this mean for the industry? Is this just, rich guys fighting, or does it actually impact the rest of us?
Oh, it impacts everyone. If Musk can successfully argue that the company's foundation is legally compromised, it completely destabilizes the leader of the pack. The report mentions this legal crisis atmosphere inside OpenAI.
It sucks all the air out of the room.
It does. They should be focused on the next version of GPT, and instead they're diverting massive resources to this. It changes the whole narrative from innovation to ownership.
So, keeping our impartial hat on, OpenAI is an illegal minefield, Musk claims his history was stolen, and the whole thing costs $134 billion.
Correct. And no matter who wins, it's a huge distraction from the actual tech. It's a mess.
Which is actually a perfect transition. Because while the billionaires fight over the digital brain, the government is suddenly worried about our physical brains.
Yes. This next report was a bit of a surprise. It felt like a throwback.
I felt like I was in a time machine. The report says the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services is kicking off a new study on mobile phones. And the key word is radioactivity. Radiation.
It does feel very retro, doesn't it?
It does. I remember the early 2000s with the foil stickers on our Nokias, the wired headsets because people thought Bluetooth would fry their ears. I thought we settled this.
We did, sort of.
I thought the science was like, non-ionizing radiation, you're fine, keep scrolling.
And that is still the general consensus. I mean, to simplify it, phones emit RF, radio frequency, energy. It's non-ionizing. It can heat tissue a tiny bit, but it doesn't strip electrons from atoms like an X-ray would.
So why is the Secretary of Health launching a new initiative in 2026?
That's the million-dollar question. The report says this directive comes right from the top, and it suggests that maybe the variables have changed enough to warrant a recheck. I mean, think about the phone in your pocket today versus one from 2016.
Okay, well, we have 5G everywhere now. The phones are way more powerful.
Exactly. Higher frequencies, millimeter waves for 5G, way more data being transmitted constantly. We sleep with them next to our heads. The whole exposure profile of a person today is completely different.
So this might not be we found a problem, but more like we changed the tech, so we need to update the safety manual.
That's the most likely scenario. It's just due diligence. The regulatory standards like SAR limits, specific absorption rate, those were set a long, long time ago.
Right. That's the number buried in tiny font in the manual nobody reads.
That's the one. And if the frequencies and power levels change, the way that energy interacts with tissue might change, even slightly. It's not cause for panic, but the fact that the word radioactivity is back in the news.
Oh, it definitely affects consumer confidence.
It does.
I read this and immediately, just nudged my phone a little further away on my desk. It hits that primal fear of invisible waves.
And that trust in the system is fragile. If this study comes back with even a minor concern, it could really shake up the whole industry.
It's a good reminder that just because something was safe 10 years ago, the new souped-up version doesn't automatically get a free pass.
Precisely. Science is a process. You don't just stamp safe on a technology and then walk away forever.
Speaking of the mobile industry, let's get out of the lab and into the store. We have two reports here on two very different phones, and the contrast tells a really interesting story about the market.
The tale of two strategies, for sure.
Okay, so first up, we have the Redmi Note 15. Now, the Redmi Note series, that's like the Honda Civic of phones. It's reliable, affordable, everyone's had one.
It's the volume king, the default recommendation for anyone on a budget.
But this report, it is brutal. It says the phone has everything necessary, follows the trend, but then calls it unfit for the current market.
That word unfit just jumps off the page. That's a really harsh thing to say about a phone that, technically works fine.
So how can you do everything right, have all the necessary features, and still be unfit?
It's the trap of just doing enough. The report is basically saying the mid-range market has become a bloodbath. The standards have shot up so fast that good enough is now just mediocre.
So a decent camera and a good battery isn't a selling point anymore.
Nope. It's table stakes. It's the bare minimum. If you release a phone in 2026 that looks and feels like the 2025 model, you're just invisible. Consumers are bored. Redmi rested on its laurels, and they're getting called out.
It's brand fatigue. They just stop trying to impress anyone.
And that is so dangerous. Once you lose that must-have momentum, you just become the boring, sensible choice.
Yeah. Let's flip to the other side of that coin. The Oppo Reno 15 Series 5G. This launch sounds like it's from a travel magazine.
Oh, it's night and day, completely.
Yeah. The report says they launched this phone at Cox's Bazar, which, for anyone who doesn't know, is the longest natural sea beach in the world. It's in Bangladesh.
A stunning location, just miles and miles of sand.
So instead of a stuffy conference room, they're on a beach. The report calls it eye-catching, and the whole vibe is just, it's about experience.
This is what we call experience marketing. Oppo isn't selling specs on a page. They're selling a lifestyle. They're selling beauty.
It's almost subconscious, isn't it? You see the phone against this beautiful ocean backdrop. You think, if I buy that phone, my life will be that beautiful.
Exactly. When the market is crowded, like we just talked about with Redmi, you can't just compete on price or features anymore. You have to compete on emotion.
It's like how fashion brands operate.
Yeah.
You're not buying the handbag, you're buying the photo shoot in Paris.
That's a perfect comparison. Phones are fashion accessories now. And launching at Cox's Bazar attaches the device to this sense of grandeur, of escape. It makes the tech feel premium.
So it's the sizzle versus the steak. Redmi brought the steak, but it was cold. Oppo brought the sizzle.
And in today's attention economy, the sizzle almost always wins.
So if you're out there looking for a new phone, the question is, are you buying a tool or are you buying of a vibe? And it seems like the market is really punishing the boring tool right now.
Yes. Utility is dead. Long live the spectacle.
All right. We've done the billionaire lawsuits, government radiation checks, and the beach party phone launch. Now I want to bring it home, to your actual home office. Because there's a report here on Windows 11 that I think will resonate with anyone who's ever wanted to throw their computer out a window.
The urgent update.
Microsoft pushed a fix because apparently in January, computers just decided they didn't want to sleep anymore. The bugs included failing to shut down and failing to hibernate.
It sounds funny, like a toddler refusing a nap, but it's a huge functional problem.
It is maddening. I've had this happen. You close the lid, you put it in your bag, and 2 hours later, your backpack is hot. You pull it out, the fan is screaming, and the battery is completely dead.
The zombie state. The computer is stuck somewhere between on and off, just churning away, generating heat.
But why is this so hard? I mean, really, turn off. It's the most basic command we have. Why is Windows in 2026 struggling with off?
It's the complexity of modern power management. See, off isn't really off anymore. It's this thing called modern standby, where the computer is trying to stay just a little bit awake to get emails or notifications so it can wake up instantly.
It's trying to act like a smartphone.
Exactly. But a PC has way more moving parts. Graphics drivers, Wi-Fi drivers, all this third-party software. If just one of those doesn't get the go to sleep now message correctly, the whole system just hangs.
And this report says the January update is what broke it.
Yeah, it was a regression. They fixed one thing and accidentally broke the power cycle. It just shows how fragile the whole ecosystem is. We think of Windows as this solid block, but it's more like a Jenga tower.
So the advice here is pretty simple. If your laptop has insomnia, go to Windows Update immediately.
Please, do it before you cook your motherboard.
You know, if we take a step back, there's a weird thread connecting all of these stories today.
I was thinking the same thing. It all feels very unsettled.
Right. I mean, look at the list. Elon Musk is suing his own creation. The government is reopening a 20-year-old safety concern. One phone brand fails because it didn't change. Another succeeds with a spectacle. And Windows forgets how to sleep.
It's a lot of friction.
It makes me wonder, and I want to pose this to you, does it feel like we're actually moving forward? Or are we just kind of spinning in circles?
That is the provocative question for 2026, isn't it?
Are we solving new problems? Or are we just creating more expensive, more complex versions of the same old ones? We're still fighting over IP, still worried about health, still debugging the on-off switch.
You could argue we're in a phase of maintenance and litigation instead of pure innovation. We built these huge complex systems, AI, 5G, global supply chains, and now we're realizing how hard it is to keep them all running safely and legally.
It's the hangover after the big party.
A little bit, yeah. The tech industry spent a decade moving fast and breaking things. 2026 might be the year where we have to stop and actually fix all the things we broke.
That is a sobering thought, but also a necessary one. If we don't fix the foundation, we can't build the next floor.
Absolutely. You can't build a skyscraper on cracking concrete.
Well, on that note, I think I'm going to go check my phone's SAR rating, move it a few feet away, and then manually shut down my laptop, just in case.
Probably a wise move.
Thanks for diving in with us today. It's been a messy but fascinating ride through the headlines.
Stay curious, everyone, and keep your drivers updated.
We'll catch you on the next Deep Dive.